Is the NTT INDYCAR Series Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg on Fox presents...
Drivers, start your engines!
But finally, the fastest racing on Earth is back as the field hurdles to green and we are racing in St. Pete. Scott McLaughlin immediately going on the defensive. It's a good start from Marcus Ericsson. A good look up the inside from Dennis Hauger. Do they make it through cleanly? They all appear to do so, and Scott McLaughlin holds the lead from the pole, and Hauger has lost one place, and that is to the champion, Alex Palou. Big move on the rookie, and that is another position gained, but a crash, and big crash behind. There's two cars in the barrier. Stingray Rob, I believe, is one of them. Full course yellow. Oh, and that is Mick Schumacher in there as well, and Marcus Armstrong.
I don't think that's Marcus Armstrong.
I believe Stingray Rob and Mick Schumacher.
So let's take a look at everybody weaving down into turn 4. Keep your eyes towards the rear of the field. That's where it's all going to happen.
You see that 3 wide happen before. Okay, so it's Ferrucci and Stingray Rob side by side going in, and Mick Schumacher
making his IndyCar debut over before it started. An innocent victim really in that. Foster, Felix Rosenquist and Pato O'Ward, who's lost 2 places from his P8 starting point. McLaughlin gets his foot to the floor. We have a green flag, and once again, we're racing. Riding on board with the pole sitter and our race leader on the run down to turn 1. Malukas with a big lockup down into turn 1. Almost contact from behind by Romain Grosjean as again they file through the tricky turn 2 and turn 3. And I'm hearing that Stingray Rob, who did manage to continue, will be given a penalty for avoidable contract.
Yeah, easy call there for the stewards. As we see a big lunge now, that's Will Power on the inside of Kiffin Simpson. He's on those hard tires, and you could tell on the exit, trying to get back to Power. TWJ AI on board showing us now, looking back at Kiffin, who's been having a great weekend himself.
Nice to see Will Power confident and aggressive early. It's been a tough weekend for him, finding the balance and the chemistry in his new team, but in the cockpit we know he's fierce, making moves. He's up to 13th.
And not just confident, Townsend, confident on the brakes, which has been the #1 issue on that 26 machine this weekend.
Well, not just for Will Power. We saw the Malukas lock up there. Stingray obviously with a massive one there at the start of the race. So several drivers trying to find the feel of those front tires as we take a look at David Malukas. Just recently here in turn 1, there's that left front. That's a big flat spot, James.
Yeah, that's not gonna feel great once you're going 180 miles an hour. You can see he gets onto that paint, and as soon as he crosses onto the paint, that left front, oh, you can see the vibration in the wheel.
Yeah, that's going to make for a long first stint, Will. If the vibration is as big as I would expect, it's kind of a miserable situation with about 25 laps still to go. McLaughlin, pole sitter, certainly a championship favorite. And Marcus Ericsson, an Indy 500 winner. He's won here before as well on the streets, but his contract is up for renewal at the end of the season as David Malukas, meanwhile, has had contact to the left front. I'm not sure if that's just a flat spot issue.
The flat spot may have worn all the way down, that massive flat spot we saw.
Let's get a replay of that. Does he brush
did he
the
get
wall?
Into the fence? I think you're right, James. I think that's from the big lockup we saw in turn 1. And that flat spot just continued to develop into a much bigger issue.
It's a flat spot leading to a delamination of the front left.
Yeah, he didn't hit the wall with the front, so that's just, when we talked about that being a big flat spot, here's his onboard. Yeah, you just see it start to go.
Now what he's got to do is do anything he can to try to nurse it, get to that apex. Is he going to make it? No, he's got to take the overshoot.
Stalling luck for David Malukas, where a big emerging story while we were away. Will Power in pit lane, damaged rear suspension, seemingly out of the race after contact with the wall. What an unfortunate weekend for Will Power on his huge headline move to Andretti. So we ride on board with the driver of the 26 car, and it's turn 10 where he crashed in practice.
Unbelievable. This is the exact same crash as practice. Carbon copy.
And carbon fiber going everywhere.
Wow.
Been struggling with the brakes all weekend long. You just wonder if they weren't able to get them on the top 3.
And I talked to Marcus Armstrong before he jumped in the car. He said he was calm, cool, and collected. And something big for them this year is consistency from last year. Pretty much everyone on his stand is the exact same. And they had a year to grow together. Big crash.
Big spin down there at turn 1. And that is Christian Rasmussen in the ECR, who had made up a ton of places and was racing so well. As now Newgarden and Simpson go side by side, and Dixon will try to go round his teammate as well. Can't find a way through, but Newgarden pouncing opportunistically and making up another place. Great stuff from him. Up to 12th, having started at the back of the field.
And we stay green. Christian Rasmussen able to get the number 21 machine going.
Good job getting through there. Let's stay in touch with the 15 and the 27 ahead.
Dixon making
Dixon.
a move on his teammate, Kiffin Simpson, up the inside of turn 10. Dixon pushing forward. That'll put him into 13th. Remember, Scott Dixon pitted on lap 2, took fuel. How many times have we seen that strategy work for this guy?
He pit on lap 2 to get rid of the softs. Then he pit again on lap 5, I think it was, before we went green to top off with fuel. But let's take a look at what happened with Rasmussen. Help, it looks like, from the CGR machine of Kiffin Simpson.
You're not wrong, Hinch. Front left on Simpson to rear right of Rasmussen, spins him round. Simpson continues but will lose places, and that's how he succumbed to the advances of Newgarden. On board with Graham Rahal, a spectator to the incident ahead.
Handling characteristic than another, and that's going to be different car to car. So we know you have to run 2 softs. Whether you run a third or a second set of hards is going to just come down to driver preference.
Well, and here's where it gets interesting for strategy, because Scott McLaughlin is coming up to the car of Christian Rasmussen, who had that contact down at turn 1. Now, if you're new to IndyCar, yes, Rasmussen will know that the leader is behind him, but no, he does not have to let him past. He can fight for his right to stay on the lead lap. McLaughlin leads Ericsson now by 0.6 of a second. The Andretti driver doing a wonderful job to keep the pole sitter well in sight. 30 laps completed here on the streets of St. Pete. But the leader is in. Scott McLaughlin on pit road. Marcus Ericsson takes over at the head of the field, and waiting for Scott McLaughlin will be Kevin Lee.
And it has gone according to plan so far. When I checked in with the team, they simply wanted him to go long, and they didn't want a caution somewhere in the late 20s. So they are in position to potentially be able to do this on a 2-stopper. This is their used set of softs. They still have a set of new later on, but can they make this used set last long enough?
McLaughlin pits, Grosjean pits, Newgarden pits, Graham Rahal pits as well. So Marcus Ericsson now leads this race from Alex Palou and Marcus Armstrong. We sit on board with Joseph Newgarden, one of the biggest leaders in the race, one of the biggest overtakers in the race so far. Joseph Newgarden, who started from his worst ever qualifying position here of 23rd.
But this in-lap from Ericsson is everything right now. Such a good job from him to save enough fuel to make an extra lap. Now he's going to be coming into pit lane, Jack. It's all down to what happens in pit lane.
It sure does, James. This is a critical part of the race, with that group being so tight. In and out laps, absolutely huge. Marcus on his stand has Robert Wickens, just been inducted into the Canadian Racing Drivers Hall of Fame. It's a really strong group. Marcus is a race winner here, no doubt going to get it done. Dennis Hauger has gone to the new soft tyre. He might be a rookie, but he is not showing it today.
Marcus Ericsson on used soft tires as he comes down pit lane. We'll be looking for the car, the deck Chevy of Scott McLaughlin.
And there
it is at the apex of one.
Turn 1, Ericsson exits the pits and will exit ahead of Scott McLaughlin. That is essentially for the lead of the race.
For now, because Ericsson's tires are cold. He
Oh,
does not
my
need to
word,
block
that's
like
close.
that. That is not the time to throw the big block, Marcus. Here comes McLaughlin.
He's not racing, Rossi. He should not have lost that much time. Now McLaughlin's got 1 lap of heat in his tires. He's got, it's softs to softs. The tire compounds are even, but it's big pressure now to get off of turn 9 right here for Ericsson. Can he do it clean?
Ericsson needs to have eyes forward, but eyes in his mirrors. McLaughlin will be all over him with his tires up to temperature. Can McLaughlin make it through at 10? Has a look. Ericsson has it covered.
Ericsson did that little bit of
He's hit the wall.
hit the wall with his right rear. I think he'll be okay if he can hang on. It wasn't that hard of a hit.
It wasn't that hard of a hit, but it's going to give him a little bit of hesitation here into 13 and 14. Car looks really hooked up, front end turning around there. Good launch off the corner.
But how much of a run did McLaughlin get off that final corner? Tucked up in the slipstream behind Marcus Ericsson. Doesn't look close enough to have a look at the moment. So Ericsson will hold that position over Scott McLaughlin, but critically, Alex Palou has managed to stay out, and I think Marcus Armstrong has got ahead of both of them. Was that Armstrong leaving the pits?
I think you're right. Here he goes.
It was. Armstrong goes to defend. There is contact between them, but Ericsson barges his way past. Barges past, but loses part of his car on the way through. That's a critical move for Marcus Ericsson.
This has been a dicey couple laps for Ericsson, but he managed to hang on, and now he's got covered because Armstrong's on cold tires. McLaughlin is held up. This is so important for Ericsson to get away.
McLaughlin hunting him down through the turn and looking to tend, and Armstrong defends. McLaughlin will have to go around the outside. You can't fit two down there. There is a touch. Armstrong somehow holds on.
Armstrong holds on. How did McLaughlin hold on? I have never seen an outside pass in 10 work. That was unreal. The Kiwi on the Kiwi.
Meanwhile, guys, Alex Palou on pit lane. The number 10 DHL car just stopped and serviced and leaving. This is about to get even more crazy as Palou blends out.
And Palou blends out with ease, far ahead of Marcus Ericsson. He's got almost the entire stretch of the run down to turn 4.
Wow.
Those extra laps, we call that the overcut. When you run longer in a stint than the guys you're racing, you get that lap on hot tires going quick while they're getting up to speed on cold tires, and it has that crossover. It's been so impressive.
Stops to make it to the finish. All of the lead cars like Alex Palou, Ericsson, McLaughlin, just one more stop, we think, to get to the end.
Oh, Dixon. Dixon's lost right rear.
Tire.
There you see the right rear bouncing further down the pit lane, sitting up on there.
That's going to be a full course caution. There it is. And that's going to hurt the likes of Foster, VK, Rossi. Luckily, had Palou not yet pit, he would have been absolutely hosed on that. The timing was so fortunate. Under caution, they're going to lose so much, but let's see a replay. Dixon right out of the pits,
was
down into
tight.
turn 4.
You can see the wheel nut
Yeah,
there.
there's the wheel nut.
And that is a very uncharacteristic mistake on the pit stop, and he knows it. Look at him looking in his mirror. Dixon knows something's wrong right there.
Oh,
what a save, though.
Yeah, great job to hang on to it.
Look at the pit stop for Scott Dixon. Take a look on the rear right. That's the rear tire closest to us. Seemingly no issue. Everybody happy with it, but you see it wobbling immediately. We can see that.
It looked like the right rear changer struggled a bit to get the wheel off initially, and then the car dropped a little too soon before the nut was tight. On board here with Kyle Kirkwood, we'll watch this camera pan, and then you'll see the wheel nut right there to part the axle, and along with it, the wheel and tire.
We know he's done his tire allocation, so he can just go from there.
Yeah, he's level set at 15, so he'll make another stop as they come back to green on the front straightaway.
And Alex Palou will lead the field back to green. Scott McLaughlin weaving around, trying to get some heat into his tires as Ericsson has a look at the champion. But they're all in neatly to turn 1 as looking up the inside. I think was Hauger perhaps having a look at one of the McLarens. But it's Palou who leads easily as now the two Kiwis, once again, I love this. It's Armstrong and McLaughlin. McLaughlin in 3rd, Armstrong in 4th. That feels like a battle that's going to rage all the way to the checkered flag today, but McLaughlin straight on the pace and wants to make his way straight past Marcus Ericsson. He's definitely got the pace in that car.
It's looking like a red race based on the decisions that we're seeing from guys right now. The top 8 all on those soft tires, and we have a car. That is...
It's Stingray Rob again.
Stingray Rob.
Gets it going.
In turn 8, I believe.
So we stay green. What are you doing tomorrow? Why don't you check out the all-new Fox Sports digital show Speed with him and me, where he's Kevin Harvick and I'm Will Buxton, and we are fueled by Poet. Subscribe to Speed on Fox on YouTube, the Fox Sports app, or wherever you get your podcasts. There is Mr. Alex Palou, still leading this race, and has been told he needs another 15 laps on these tires before he can stop again. We're running lap 54 of 100. Marcus Ericsson sits 2nd, almost 3 seconds in arrears. Then it's Scott McLaughlin and Marcus Armstrong still battling away. Kyle Kirkwood is 5th. Pato O'Ward and Christian Lundgaard, the McLaren duo, 6th and 7th. The Dale Coyne duo still doing brilliantly in the top 10, 8th and 9th. And Graham Rahal up in the top 10s. What makes the difference? What's Alex Palou doing differently that nobody else can?
I'll tell you what, right now, his last lap was a 103.1. Ericsson, a 104.0. He was 0.8 of a second, and that's been consistent. Like, that's you watching that gap grow. We saw how well Ericsson was doing keeping McLaughlin on us, but once Palou's got clean air, he's unstoppable.
Same tires, same pitch strategy, cars weigh the same racetrack, same time of day. What you're witnessing here is exactly what everybody was stressing about over the offseason except Alex Palou. All those other teams saying, what's it going to take? This guy is a 10 out of 10 in every single category. He is simply the best in the sport, undoubtedly right now, and we're seeing that nobody else has really drawn close just yet. The difference is that Palou will have to finish on the harder black tire. Marcus Ericsson and Scott McLaughlin have brand new soft tire Firestones. That's the best hope they have, is that somehow the black tire is no good for Palou.
Things are a singular mistake from any one of these, and the entire order is going to change. McLaughlin's hungry now. Great exit of 10. Tucked up on his gearbox through the final corners. Let's see the exit. Good on the brakes. Really nice. Can he get the launch? That's a lovely exit.
Better than last lap.
Better.
He's got a nice draft.
Two cars become one as McLaughlin ducks out of the slipstream, rolls up the inside. How late on the brakes dare he be? Late enough, and that's second. Lovely stuff from Scott McLaughlin. Now he has to go after Alex Palou.
Just clinical. I mean, Marcus didn't want to defend there.
No, he's overtaking, but keep pushing.
Because you could see, it's just a fade out there from Armstrong, not close enough to do it, but you could see on the front straight all the marbles, all the discarded rubber that collects on the hot tires, and you don't want that if your car's not handling well. Right now, it seems like Ericsson's lost a little bit of the handle.
Oh, for sure. Now you got McLaughlin getting clean air and pulling away. He's going after Alex Palou. Ericsson now in a massive battle for the final podium position as they approach this last set of stops. Ericsson might come to pit lane. I might pull him in now, James, if he's struggling this much. They're in the window.
You could do it from here. Certainly, he was quicker, I think, than McLaughlin on those hards on the primary tire, but they have to run another set of softs. It looks like now Ericsson under pressure from Armstrong.
Kirkwood comes into pit. Ericsson defends from Armstrong. Big push towards the wall, but Armstrong fights his way past, brakes too late. Ericsson continues on. The McLarens now will try to take advantage of it. Pato O'Ward onto the back of Marcus Ericsson. That was a big push towards Marcus Armstrong, who will be furious.
Now big defense from Ericsson against the McLarens, and O'Ward gets passed by Lundgaard.
Yeah, Christian Lundgaard making the move, and I really like the call to bring in Kyle Kirkwood and go for the undercut, because Kirkwood was all jammed up here.
And these guys have been driving so slowly, fighting each other. This is really playing into Kirkwood's hands. Ericsson absolutely has his hands full. They've got to bring him in.
Struggling now as Lundgaard fights, and Lundgaard takes the opportunity. That's marvelous from the McLaren man, tidy through 10. Ericsson is struggling. They have to bring him in because now O'Ward needs the move. O'Ward wants the position.
A couple of these blocks from Ericsson have looked pretty aggressive and might come under the review of race control, especially what happened down in turn 1. Here comes Ericsson to pit lane along with Armstrong.
Armstrong will be fuming.
They're going to be,
move.
Andretti's going to be kicking themselves for not bringing Ericsson in a lap sooner. Armstrong's going to be kicking himself for that move. That's 2 unforced errors that cost him positions, 1 in turn 10 and 1 down there in turn 1. Now we see the 28 in the pit stall. Jack, how's it look?
He's actually already been in, James. He's already on his way back out. The biggest thing, they went with the new red soft tire. The end of that stint was getting pretty dicey, but to be on the podium in this series, that's what it takes.
Certainly does.
They put on the new tires, but how much more work is he going to have to do through all the time lost on those old tires at the end of his stint? Palou leading from McLaughlin. 14 seconds is the gap, and Palou chooses now to pit. Race leader on pit lane. What tires does he put on? And can he take this thing to victory? Georgia is standing by.
Palou is going to put the hard tires on. Remember, he went soft, used soft. Now this is going to be a hard tire. to the end for him. He told Barry Wanzer he wants a half turn less of wing in the front, but this pit stop is going to be ever so important for him to get that lead and keep that lead. He's off.
A couple of turns of front wing for Alex Palou as well.
About as smooth and clean as it gets. The only thing between Alex Palou and victory right now is traffic that he has to navigate through as he comes out right in the thick of it. Kirkwood coming through turn one. McLaughlin exits. They're going to blend right at pit out.
Whoa,
this is going to be super close. Kirkwood is flying, the fastest car on track right now.
And he has fresh rubber. McLaughlin goes defensive, forces Kirkwood to go the long way round. Can Kirkwood do it? Oh, it is almost a carbon copy of McLaughlin and Grosjean from a few years ago, but Kirkwood is smart to it and fights his way past.
There was contact there. I wonder if Kirkwood's right rear is okay. Hopefully no puncture. He is away and smooth, and everything looks good.
Oh no! Right rear puncture for Kyle Kirkwood. Oh, the team says it's okay. Team says he's okay.
Well, Kirkwood just said right rear puncture.
I'm just looking at the tire, trying to see if that sidewall is flexing at all. I mean, he seems to be going okay right now. Let's take a look.
On board with McLaughlin. There's definite contact between the front wing of McLaughlin and that right rear.
But you see the live shot in the corner as we see a second angle of the replay. He stayed out.
And it's those carbon fiber end fences from the front wing that are just like a sharp knife sometimes. And hopefully Kirkwood was just checking with Brian Herta and didn't see anything on his dash to suggest a puncture.
Think back to 2023. Scott McLaughlin versus Romain Grosjean for the win. Almost a carbon copy of that exact moment. How much has Kirkwood been reviewing the tapes of previous races to know that he had to stay strong there and he had to make that move stick now for the win? And lap times between Palou and Kirkwood are pretty level. Scott McLaughlin is third. Christian Lundgaard has fought his way up to fourth place for McLaren. Pato Award is up to fifth from eighth. Ericsson has slipped down to sixth. Newgarden, what a day. What a day for Joseph Newgarden. 23rd, currently standing seventh. Grosjean 8th, VK 9th. Dennis Hauger still sitting pretty in the top 10 on debut. The two MSR drivers, Armstrong and Rosenquist, outside the top 10 at the moment. And for Armstrong in 11th, that must be galling. A brilliant race. Arguably should have been fighting for a podium today. But that move, that defensive move by Marcus Ericsson, for me, it was a little strong, a little questionable. I don't know about you guys. Hinch, Townsend, what did you think of that move?
I at least thought it deserved a second look from the officials. It was very aggressive down the front stretch. It's one thing to proactively start moving, but once the guy pops, to keep driving him all the way to the inside wall, I thought at least it was something to take a look at. Let's maybe go back and have another look ourselves.
The race distance here at St. Pete and water weight.
Speaking of pounds, I saw you pounding a couple of ice creams after your truck race yesterday when you got to the booth.
One ice cream, thank you very much. But
you were
it was hot,
gassed, man.
It was hot in a truck when you've got the roof over top and the engine in front, even more.
These guys are getting hot on track right now, Will.
They most certainly are. That is the fight for the final podium places. That is Kyle Kirkwood. That is Scott McLaughlin, and behind them, that is Christian Lundgaard. Kirkwood in the navy and gold car, McLaughlin in the red and white car that we ride on board with now, and this Christian Lundgaard Fan Fest at Arlington sponsors this camera angle. 3 drivers, 2 places left on the podium, could be anyone's right now, and Lundgaard looks very spicy.
And let's hear from Christian Lundgaard. He's been on the radio to his crew about McLaughlin in front.
Is Scotty tight on fuel?
He just did 1 lap less than us, so he's probably okay.
Yeah, well, we need to get Chevy on him. Go pressure him to save more fuel or go faster.
He knows that Kirkwood's got a number to hit. McLaughlin's looking. He's saying go pressure Kirkwood, force him to try to use more fuel, which hopefully has him either run out or just really have to bail out and not put up a fight.
But Scott McLaughlin told us before the start of the race today, his eyes are on the championship. It's on execution. And you do that by making great decisions. He's going to wait for a high percentage opportunity if he makes a move.
Right now, about applying pressure, but an early lift, as you were saying, Townsend, earlier, all about that coast to try and save a bit of fuel. So he'll have it to push. 7 to go here in St. Pete. Second, third, fourth, split by inches.
So to Lundgaard's point, McLaughlin is saving a little bit of fuel. He has 1 lap less on board than the number 7.
And I've given Christian Lundgaard, on occasion, the nickname Lungeguard because the lunge from Lundgaard is so effective. He's one of the best drivers in the series at thrusting into the corner on the brakes and making a pass happen when drivers least expect it.
And now McLaughlin has a look, and now McLaughlin goes up on the inside of Kirkwood. That's second place back for McLaughlin, and can Lundgaard take advantage as well? They run side by side into the final sweepers, and he does! It's third place for Christian Lundgaard, and Kirkwood drops from second to fourth.
Super brave pass from Christian Lundgaard to go the outside too wide through that very fast kink.
Very brave, and look right here, both those guys in the middle using their push to pass. Kirkwood as well, 51 seconds for McLaughlin, 41 seconds for Lundgaard, but if Lundgaard has more fuel, he's going to have more freedom to use that button. When you're short on fuel, the engineers...
Overtake now efficient. He's got 41 behind, 41.
That's what you're hearing, efficient overtake. He is being allowed to use a little bit, but you're not allowed to use a full pull down the straightaway. That's little bursts out of the corners to get a jump, but you cannot afford to burn the fuel that comes with a full pull from turn 14 to turn 1.
So he has more push to pass, but because he has less fuel, he can't use it.
Take a look at this pass here from Scott McLaughlin inside of Kyle Kirkwood in turn 10, and now the papaya McLaren of Christian Lundgaard to the outside. High sketch factor right there. He just narrowly gets right back into the groove before hitting the marbles.
Great stuff. Instinctive from McLaughlin, and then just that reactionary pass from Lundgaard to take the advantage, take the position. Beautiful driving from those two.
This is the one I want to see right here. This was a bold move. Gets on the button, you see the green lights up on the dash, and the turn in, the commitment. At this point of the race, that is a one-lane bit of racetrack.
And Kyle Kirkwood saved the day there for Lundgaard. Kirkwood could have easily stayed in the throttle as we see McLaughlin going past, but Kirkwood could have forced the issue right here, and if he did, it would have been Lundgaard hard into the outside wall.
Heads up driving. These guys are all thinking championship at this point. They know that crashing over third is not going to serve you well when we get to the season finale. But look at how quickly they've dropped Kirkwood. He is having to save so much fuel. Even still, if he comes home fourth place from where he started, tremendous recovery.
I'm not sure he will with the way Pato Award is starting to close the gap on Kirkwood. Kirkwood just 1.9 seconds to the good over the Mexican driver is Alex Palou. I mean, what goes through this guy's mind when he has this kind of lead? Maybe does he think about the Mid-Ohio mistake? I'm fascinated at the mindset because he delivers these picture-perfect races with these massive leads. It's hard, I think, sometimes to stay focused down the stretch.
He's already thinking about Phoenix.
Yeah, probably.
He's already thinking, how can I win 2 in a row to start this season too?
I think if there's one thing I've learned about Alex Palou, it's that the focus never wavers. It is dead on to what he's doing, and we don't see him make the same mistake twice. The kind of mistake that we saw at Mid-Ohio, you're never seeing that out of Alex Palou ever again.
You barely see the first mistake once.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Rarely a locked tire, rarely an oversteer moment, a slide, a wow. He's the most spectacular driver in the world in terms of the results without the drama.
He's a clinician. He's just phenomenal.
It's the Alain Prost approach, the professor, right? He thinks about it. He's a student of this sport. He studies data like no one's business. He knows exactly how and where and why he is better than the other drivers.
And he's the nicest guy. Out of that car, he is the sweetest, nicest guy. The team adore him. Family man. His wife and daughter are here at every race with him. And then he gets in the car, pulls on that helmet, and it's business time.
Yeah, it's a good caveat there, out of the car. Because
out
in
of
the car, he's a killer.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, Christian Lundgaard is not done yet. This 24-year-old from Denmark who had his first season with McLaren last year and started so aggressively, so strong, taking podiums in the opening races and really just settling in there immediately. Zach Brown signed him to this team when he lost the potential signing of Alex Palou. He saw him as the kind of driver that he saw in Alex Palou, the kind of replacement, the kind of driver who could do the things that Alex Palou can. And with 1 year now at the team, 1 year to get his feet under the table, he is hoping, Zach Brown and Lundgaard himself, that this is the year when he can come to the fore and lead that McLaren team to greatness. A twitch from McLaughlin out of the final corner. Will that give Lundgaard his attempt
And that's
Will it
what you
allow
want to
him to
hear.
look?
Tim Cindric saying you're good on fuel. Lundgaard has a peak, but not yet. I think it might come on the last lap, Will. But Cindric clearing the way for Scotty Mack to use all the gas left in the tank.
And another twitch from McLaughlin. 2 to go, and he's feeling the pressure from Lundgaard.
Still 10 seconds to the good for this man here. Scott McLaughlin over Lundgaard on push to pass. 37 to 29. They're both going to be pushing the button out of turn 9. They're both going to be pushing the button out of turn 14 as they get the white flag. Lundgaard running out of opportunities.
Use an overtake.
Hits the limiter.
It's so frustrating for Christian Lundgaard. He knows he's got the pace, but can't do anything about it.
I'm wondering what we're seeing on the low screen, but up on top, Alex Palou takes the white flag and starts his last lap here in St. Pete. And James Townsend, it has been a phenomenal drive from Alex Palou. Last year's win owed so much to other teams, other drivers' mistakes, but this one, he has taken it by the horns and he's run it from the front.
We heard from his race team all weekend. Guys, what is the goal for this year? To improve. Well, how do you improve on the most dominant IndyCar season in history? I don't know, but they seem to have figured out how to do it because Palou is winning by 13 seconds, almost unheard of the way this race started, and with Palou not starting on the front row, absolute magic around here.
Look, his career's really been defined by a lot of wins on road courses, by far the biggest. Only 2 wins on street courses so far, but that's where you improve, and that's what he's done.
The best has returned, better than ever. The question remains, how do you beat this man? Alex Palou makes it back-to-back wins on the streets of St. Pete.
Clear south